Okay, welcome back everybody to another deep dive. Today we're looking at something that's super important for pretty much every business out there.
Definitely.
Business telecom,
Yeah.
specifically VoIP systems.
Right.
And we found this company called Tricom Systems, Inc. that seems to be doing some really interesting things,
Yeah, they are.
especially for businesses in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So, I think most of our listeners are probably familiar with the basics of VoIP,
Mm-hmm.
making calls over the internet, all that.
Right.
But today, we're going to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, let's go deeper.
What makes Tricom stand out, and why might a business choose them over, one of those big name VoIP providers?
Yeah. Well, one thing that really jumped out at me when I was looking at Tricom was their laser focus on Connecticut.
Oops.
You just don't see that hyper-local approach that often these days.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, is local focus just kind of a marketing buzzword, though? I mean,
Hmm.
couldn't a big VoIP provider with nationwide coverage offer the same level of service remotely?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. But you got to think about it, right? Connecticut has its own set of rules and regulations,
Right.
especially when it comes to integrating VoIP with emergency
Oh,
services.
like 911?
Exactly, 911. And a company like Tricom, with boots on the ground in Connecticut,
Uh-huh.
they're much more likely to have a really deep understanding of all those nuances,
Yeah.
compared to some company that's managing things from, who knows where.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I hadn't
Yeah.
even really considered that, the whole regulatory angle of it. So, okay, so they're experts in Connecticut's,
Right,
rules and regs.
right.
But what about their actual services? Like their website is tricomphone.com,
Uh-huh.
which seems very specific.
Exactly. It really highlights that they're specializing in phone systems.
Okay.
They're not trying to be like, everything to everyone, like
Right.
some IT companies that just kind of dabble in a little bit of everything.
Right.
So that focus, probably allows them to go a lot deeper with their VoIP offerings.
When you say go deeper, could that mean that they offer like more sophisticated features than just, a general IT company would?
Absolutely.
Like what kinds of things are we talking about?
Well, think about things like call analytics
Okay.
that go way beyond, just your basic call logs.
Uh-huh.
Imagine a business being able to track call patterns, to see, peak hours, or even
Oh.
identify dropped calls,
Oh, wow.
or even analyze customer sentiment during calls. That kind of data can be invaluable for
Hmm.
improving customer service
Right.
and streamlining operations. And a company like Tricom, with that deep understanding of voice communication,
Yeah.
they're going to have the expertise to implement and support those advanced features.
Okay, so we've talked about, Tricom's local expertise
Right.
and, the potential that they have for these really specialized VoIP services. So for a business owner in Connecticut who's, looking at their options, what would make Tricom more appealing than, going with one of the big guys?
Yeah. Well, I think it really boils down to this personalized service that's backed by that in-depth knowledge of local regulations
Okay.
and the potential for, more tailored and sophisticated VoIP solutions. A smaller company like Tricom, they might be a little more agile, more responsive, and more invested in the success of their clients,
Yeah.
especially within a specific community.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a great way to sum it up. So for anybody listening out there, you know, who's dealing with their business telecom needs, especially in Connecticut,
Right.
it might be worth, digging a little deeper
Okay.
into what a company like Tricom can offer. Don't just assume that, bigger is always better.
I couldn't agree more.
Sometimes, that specialized expertise and the personal touch can make all the difference.
For sure.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. But here's something to think about.
Okay.
What if you're a business owner, but you're not in Connecticut? How do you find a VoIP provider that can offer that same level of specialized service
Yeah.
and local expertise? It's a tough question, but it's definitely worth exploring.
Yeah, it is.